This is 7 News, the voice of the New England.
Tonight, local farmers under pressure as charities see high demand for fodder and water.
Rental affordability plunges to decade lows, making it harder for people to live in the regions.
And in the national news, the gridlock nightmare that never should have happened.
And the first interviews with asylum seekers released into the community.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Local farmers are facing ongoing pressure as dry conditions severely impact their crop and livestock.
Charities are transporting millions of dollars worth of fodder and emergency drinking water across the state, particularly in our own backyard.
As a farmer, you must be thinking ahead.
It's too late now to try and prepare. You've got to be prepared 12 months ago, trying to put feed away.
It's really starting to dry off. There are certainly fires starting to become prevalent across the landscape, and we're really starting to see the turn of the seasons.
The Bureau of Meteorology declared August to October as the driest since records began in 1900. As feed becomes sparse, farmers are faced with a tough decision: import fodder for a high price and keep their livestock alive, or sell them for a lower price. Charity Rural Aid has seen requests for fodder total more than $1 million, the majority coming from northern areas of the state.
Hay prices are way up here, too high. They've got to be up there too, because the cost of electricity, diesel, your labour.
I think attitudes are certainly shifting in terms of how we think about droughts within the broader construct of other climatic impacts.
During the last drought from 2018, the Chaffey Dam was around 13%. With extended periods of limited rainfall, Tamworth Regional Council will phase in more water restrictions. Dairy farmer Wes Brown is concerned we'll see a repeat of last time.
I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it until they do. Yeah. It's all about management. You've got 100% dam, manage it properly, and everyone will be a lot better off. The government's never been prepared, never. As soon as it rains, they forget all about it.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
There are figures out tonight which show a new definition of working poor hitting our regional areas. Foodbank says record numbers need help just to provide the basics, and that includes families on 2 incomes.
Queues banking up. Everyone in need of food.
I make all right money, but still rent's that expensive now. And then food, it's just hard to get by.
Got a mortgage, and with the interest rates going up, it's noticeable.
Now, I think it's fair to say that being in a double income household doesn't protect you from needing food relief.
So, backyard food programs run by volunteers are being set up in regional areas right across the state.
The vast majority of people that we see are, and that's, I think, mainly our target group, is pretty much average families.
Even some middle income earners are at breaking point, living paycheck to paycheck as they fight to put food on the table. That analysis is borne out by figures compiled by Foodbank Australia. They show 10% of regional New South Wales have used a food bank in the past year. Remarkably, the majority of those are working and earning up to $90,000 a year. 1 in 4 people in Tamworth say they can't afford 3 meals a day. That's tripled in just 2 years.
It's particularly noticeable in the regions. We monitor where we send our food, and about 50% of what we ship out now is going to regional New South Wales and the ACT.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
Declan Milton, 7 News.
In the past 12 months, rental affordability across Australia has plunged to decade lows. Rental prices are skyrocketing across parts of the New England northwest, making it difficult for people to live in regional New South Wales.
We're living through one of the worst economic disasters in recent history. New research from National Shelter and SGS Economics and Planning says affordability has worsened across the entire country, and regional New South Wales is now the second least affordable country area in Australia.
This is the worst rental affordability we've seen in regional New South Wales for over a decade, which is pretty shocking.
We're obviously growing, so tenants are moving here and it's becoming a higher demand area, so that's seeing the rental prices go up.
With an increase in people moving to the country and the rise in interest rates, the New England Northwest has seen higher rents combined with less housing supply. In Tamworth alone, around 180 properties are sitting vacant at the moment, but only 22 are under a $300 price point.
It's extremely concerning when you see the types of lives that people are being forced to live through having to pay, 40, 50, 60, 70% of their take-home income in rent.
Experts say social housing can help ease the crisis, providing security to people in lower income brackets. Australia's total housing stock is just 4% social housing.
A number in terms of percentage of total stock of 10% would be ideal. Now, that's a difficult target to meet.
If we can put as many roofs over heads as possible, that's always the end goal.
Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Well, there are fears tonight 5 blazes northwest of Walgett could combine, threatening opal mines just 5 kilometres from the fire front. Westerly winds are set to challenge containment lines as a request is made for more resources to relieve those who are exhausted on the fire ground.
Narran Lake Nature Reserve northwest of Walgett, engulfed by 5 separate fires, becoming the centre of attention for firefighters in the state's northwest.
Just up near a big tree here, it's right on the edge,
Already burning through a combined 11,000 hectares as a result of lightning strikes. The first 2 blazes began on Thursday, followed by 3 more on Sunday evening.
At the moment, there is still some separation between all 5 fires, but as the days progress and the wind influence picks up, some of those fires might join up.
The concern forecast westerly wind gusts pushing the fire east towards Glengarry and Grawin opal fields, just some 7 kilometres away from the fire front.
My concern is the residents of Grawin and Glengarry opal fields that live there. Just the smoke that will be going in through there that might get sucked down into the mine shafts is a concern, and obviously the threat of fire itself.
As the fires burn through previously flooded country, crews spent today on heavy machinery, strengthening containment lines.
They haven't got a containment line in there. We're just trying to make that a bit stronger today and continue to put crews in there to try and black out as much as we can to try and slow and stop the spread towards the opal fields.
For the past 6 days, local firefighters have been battling the fires and the elements to bring each blaze under control. It's prompted the request for more resources to relieve those on the ground.
Just to try and give them a rest.
Hamish Southwell, 7 News.
A total fire ban and a high fire danger rating is in place across the northwestern and the northern slopes regions tomorrow as temperatures reach the high 30s in some areas. A total fire ban means no fires are allowed in the open, which limits the potential of fires developing. General purpose hot works such as welding, grinding or grass cutting, I think that should be, are also prohibited outside. Lighting a fire on a day where a total fire ban is in place can attract a hefty fine or even jail time.
Narrabri Shire Council, along with local parents, are calling on Transport New South Wales to establish a bus service between Narrabri and Wee Waa. The 30-minute drive putting pressure on working parents, now forcing some to select another school for their kids.
The end of the school year is almost here, and most parents are deciding on a high school for their child. But for those in Narrabri and Wee Waa, the choices can be limited.
It is a big issue. You think about the kind of choices that parents make on a day-to-day basis, and they really want the best for their children.
There's currently no school bus routes between the 2 towns. Parents forced to drive their children 30 minutes to get to class.
It's a lot. We live 45 kilometres out of Narrabri. My husband works on farm. So with farm life, you don't know the hours.
Mrs Holman's daughter is keen to go to Wee Waa High School next year for Year 8. But with 2 parents working full-time, it's almost impossible.
I have a great ag program. They have other programs as well. And she would love to go. But me working in Narrabri, it doesn't work.
Local parents contacted Narrabri Shire Council over their concerns with a lack of bus routes. Mayor Daryl Tiemans listened to their calls and contacted the state government and Transport New South Wales.
We're waiting on a decision from the minister, but it's really in the hands of Transport for New South Wales at the moment.
A lack of transport in the bush is not uncommon. However, Mrs Holland wants those in charge to consider people living regional and rural.
In the city, you have your conveniences, and you take advantage of that. In the country, unless you live there, they've got no idea what we go through.
In a statement to 7 News, Transport for New South Wales say they are aware of the concerns and they are assessing the needs for a direct service, advising there are supervised connecting services in the afternoon. Olivia Babb, 7 News.
Tamworth Regional Council will soon begin work on its car parking strategy after it received an influx of community feedback. Members of the public have shared their growing frustration over the parking spaces, claiming there's just not enough to meet the growing demand.
In 2020, Tamworth Regional Council released its car parking strategy. A key action from the report was to revisit the 10-year plan every 3 to 4 years. Now the plan is set to be revised with the help of the community.
Probably the main things of note are around disabled car parking, so a lot of people are saying they're either not in the correct areas or we don't have enough of them.
The placement of parking meters in the city was also cause for concern for some residents.
So we received a number of sort of complaints around our meters maybe not working the best they can, and all-day parking, so that's a big one. People want more all-day parking in convenient areas.
But the council says options are available to those who don't want to pay for their park.
Provide all-day free parking on the fringe of the CBD so people can park for free and walk into the CBD, and encouraging people to use alternate transport modes as well.
However, some would like to see a multi-level car park be built.
They would prefer what most towns the Tamworth size do have, and that is a multi-storey central car park which gives easy access to Main Street and all the shops that go with that.
The studies undertaken in 2020 by the council show 40% of the CBD's car parking spaces were vacant between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. each day. However, locals still say it's not enough to meet the demand. You do think there's enough parking in Tamworth?
No, not really. There could be more parking in Tamworth because of the amount of people that are coming into Tamworth.
Hugh Pearson, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty is here now for a look at today's weather. And Kirsty, we've seen some fire conditions about today and some hot temperatures.
That's right, Nick and Maddie. Hello to you both and good evening, everyone. Before we take a look at today's weather, there have been 2 fires burning at Walgett that earlier today were both upgraded to watch and act levels, both blazes burning in both easterly and northeasterly directions, one of which has jumped its eastern containment line. Elsewhere, it has been a mostly fine and sunny day across the New England and the northwest. Some light cloud cleared into the early morning as we felt those temperatures climbing once again well into the mid, even the high 30s for Moree and for Gunnedah, 36 degrees today. Winds swinging out of the northwest and southwest, breezy at times, although they didn't impact our temperatures much. Inverell 32, and even at Glen Innes in the east, we reached the high 20s. Warmer again tomorrow. The chance of storms developing with showers later on in the week. I'll have the details a little later on, guys.
Thanks, Kirsty. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Still to come in 7 News, the Salvation Army launches their Christmas toy drive appeal, helping those in need.
An infamous show arrives in Tamworth ahead of their opening night.
And a little later on this news hour, a routine sprinkler test brings traffic to a standstill, clogging one of Sydney's biggest roads. Plus, a man armed with an axe goes on a car-wrecking rampage in Melbourne. And surgery by Torchlight, Gaza's biggest hospital, caught in the crossfire.
Welcome back. A cabaret circus has tumbled into Tamworth this week ahead of their opening night on Friday. Infamous, the show is adults only and it features plenty of dancing and some death-defying acts.
The Ashton family are known for their circuses, but this particular one will have you on the edge of your seat. Acrobatics, dancing and stunts. Yet it's nothing you've seen before.
Comedy, they just love it. Some people love the skill of our female aerialists, you know. Some people love the trapeze. Some people love the wheel of death.
It's only for the eyes of those 18 and older, labelled a mix between Moulin Rouge and Cirque du Soleil. And it's the first time the Ashton family has delved into a new genre.
you've got to evolve, you know. So I saw a little niche in the market there when I was travelling the world, and I saw a few shows and I've gone, oh my gosh, this is great.
Tamworth dancer Emmeline Tinson joined the show 4 years ago, living on the road and challenging herself to new feats every day.
Learn like behind the scenes, because usually as a dancer you just learn like choreo and that's it, but here I've learned how to put up a tent, how to do pretty much how a show runs, which has been really good.
It's no easy thing being a part of a year-round show, but this travelling troupe of 38 have become family.
I tell you what, it's really good fun. It's really good fun being in charge of all these kids. I call them kids because, you know, they're all a bit younger than myself, but they're really great performers.
The 2-hour show kicks off this Friday and will run for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a good night out for the parents just to leave their kids at home and pretty much have a night out at the circus, but 18 plus.
Olivia Babb, 7 News.
The Salvation Army is asking locals to get in the Christmas spirit and donate to the annual Christmas Toy Drive appeal. Last year, more than 6,000 gifts were donated in regional New South Wales, providing struggling families with Christmas presents. Donations can be made to Newcastle Permanent and Greater Bank branches until December 15.
Up next in 7 News, Tamworth's very own Logan Spinks locks in another season with the NRL.
And Muay Thai fighter Josh McCulloch returns to the gym after his weekend defeat.
Tamworth's Josh McCulloch is determined to bounce back after his shock loss in Sydney. The Muay Thai champ is already back in the gym and says he's determined not to let his defeat define him.
It's a position we rarely see Josh McCulloch in, at the wrong end of a losing battle in the middle of the ring.
Oh, big left knee there.
Josh fell to a unanimous decision on Saturday against the Thai-born Lek, but he isn't letting the defeat define him. He's already back in the gym, planning for his next fight.
No excuses, just got beat by the better opponent on the night, and we've got to come back and reevaluate and go from there.
Josh is holding himself accountable, but in the lead up to the bout, he was dealt a tough hand. His original opponent, Tong Chai, pulling out, meaning he had to take on a new opponent at a different weight with just 2 days' notice.
After preparing for someone for 8 to 10 weeks with a certain style and visualising a certain opponent, and I knew it was a gamble to take and a risk to take, but I took the gamble and it didn't pay off, but yeah, it is what it is.
In the fight game, one loss can hurt a fighter's reputation, but Josh isn't worried as he continues to pursue his Muay Thai dreams.
Stepping up on those sort of 2 days' notice against Lek without preparing for him, it's I don't believe it hurts my stock at all. Like, it is what it is. It's been 6 years since I last lost, so it's been a long time.
Over the coming days and weeks, Josh will pick apart his fight as he figures out his next move.
Oh, and another one on the chin from McCulloch, the boy from Tamworth.
Sit down with my trainers, see where I went wrong, see where I need to improve, and get back to the drawing board and just to get better.
Max Gent, 7 News.
Tamworth's Logan Spinks has extended his contract with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. The Farrer graduate will be on the train and trial contract from next season before moving to a supplementary deal until 2026. The move comes after a standout year, earning himself a selection in the Australian schoolboys team, as well as a New South Wales country call-up. The Lake Keepit Soaring Club is hosting the New South Wales State Titles. The tournament bringing 30 of the best aircraft and pilots together for 1 week of competition. They will fly across the state during the tournament, with the winner crowned on Saturday afternoon. Dozens of budding paragliders are taking to the skies this week in Manila for the Novice Pilot's Licence course on top of Mount Bora. The 9-day intensive teaches students on the lower training hill before they take flight from one of the 4 jump points at the peak. And for anyone looking to earn their wings, places are still open for the March course. Central North Rugby Union will introduce new provisions to stop forfeits crippling teams throughout the season. First grade games will now be played before second grade in the hope more players can break up for both teams. Back up, rather. The decision stops teams having to fork out hundreds of dollars in fines for having too few players to field a team. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty is back and she's got your all-important local weather forecast. That's next.
Good evening, everyone. A trough is developing over inland New South Wales and drawing heat into parts of the state from the north, but it will also trigger shower and storm activity for the eastern half of our state over the next couple of days. After this, conditions will be more settled, a high-pressure system becoming the dominant feature, bringing with it clear skies and sunshine. While state once again split down the middle in terms of rain, the west remaining relatively dry, the east expecting most of the upcoming rainfall. Over the New England and northwest, we could see up to 30 millimetres. There is, however, a chance of heavier isolated rain totals. Today, 2 fires burning in the west at Walgett were upgraded to watch and act, burning in an east and northeasterly direction. Tomorrow, total fire bans have been issued for our regions. Taking a look to the middle of our working week, we will have partly cloudy skies, some very hot temperatures tomorrow. The west again soaring to the high 30s with moderate northwest to southwesterly winds around in the morning. Possible storms could bring a slight chance of a shower or two, remaining hot in the high 20s at Glen Innes with those total fire bans as well as high fire danger ratings. Increasing showers are forecast on Thursday. There's about a 40% chance of a shower or two for the afternoon and evening. During the morning, hot and sunny with extreme fire danger ratings forecast for the northwest and the northern slopes. Winds about 35 kilometres an hour. Into Friday, our region will be split into the west can expect clear skies, temperatures the high 20s and the low 30s, while in the east we are expecting a high chance of showers up to about 10 millimetres and possible storms with gusty winds. Certainly some very mixed conditions over the next few days, guys.
Yeah, it sure is. Thanks for the update, Kirsty. See you later.
And that is all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, at 7plus.
Right now, though, Dan has your national news. Have a lovely night. See you again tomorrow from 6 o'clock. See you then.